Welcome to Tinkertime Labs. We're doing an impromptu Q&A session with Leigh-Anne Nugent regarding some new fun things that she's learning about Salesforce today. And we decided to record this because she has an interesting foundational belief, concept, if you will, regarding what Salesforce, or rather how Salesforce should be approached from a conscientious perspective. So Leigh-Anne, you were talking about it being a product, not
Yeah.
just a CRM.
Well, yeah, the way that I see it is once a Salesforce has been implemented in a company, it becomes a product. It is a living, breathing, or it should be treated like a product. It's living, it's breathing, it serves a purpose, it solves problems, and there's going to be a long list of feature requests, maybe some bugs that someone needs to manage and prioritize and then release in a structured manner. So, Salesforce administrators, Salesforce owners, if you take on the product owner or product management principles, you would be far more effective in your role.
Awesome. Thanks for clarifying. So just really quick, because we want to give them the understanding of why. What, say, top two or three things have you seen happen as a result of not treating it as its own independent product? And then I'll ask you some other questions. So what are the
Yeah, sure.
problems, if you will? Yeah.
For sure. So one of the things that I've been seeing, and to be honest, this was early on in my career too, until I discovered that this was the best way to go. So I am victim of this. You start to fall into the trap of the squeaky wheel wins, right? So, and then the squirrel syndrome or the shiny object syndrome, whatever appears to be most interesting or top of mind, or if it's the biggest problem, that's what tends to come, gets the attention of the administrator up front and center. Versus, well, you could have been working on a really high priority item that's going to deliver incredible value. But if there's some lower priority issue that's coming up, but somebody just screams really loud, they're going to want to hijack the, the plan. So you don't want to lose sight of the big important thing for the little things that are coming in. Oh, it's going to be just a quick thing. I can just tackle that. But we have to be aware of context switching, and you get derailed from a train of thought. And gosh, we're guilty of this. Like, I'm guilty of this all the time, right? You lose sight and you lose focus, and then you lose momentum, and then you miss your deliverable. And then what, right? So the high impact. So that's the first thing, you lose sight of the most important thing. The second thing I would say is you could have, there can be like some downstream implications that each feature request could have. So someone might say, oh, I want to just add a field. Okay, fine. You want to add a field, but what kind of field, right? Is it a pick list field? Who's going to use it? Who's going to like update it? Who should see it? Should this go on a report? Does this link anywhere else? So people don't understand, like people who are end users who are just wanting to get the outcomes that they're looking for in their business. What they're just looking for, I just need this done. But you as an administrator, you as a product owner, you need to understand, well, what is the problem you're trying to solve? Like, what are you really trying to accomplish? Because it might not be a field. That field might already exist somewhere else. So you need to just deeply understand what the problem is before you actually start adding the field. The third thing I'll say, maybe, and this will be, and I'm sure there's a lot, but this is just top of mind. So so there are people, I saw this Instagram reel. I could have been a TikTok, I don't know, but I saw it on Instagram. And there are people who think to talk and other people who talk to think. And there are people who do, instead of talking and thinking, it's building. So some people build in order to get an idea of what their design really is, versus some people design before they start building. So I'm actually a builder who needs to, like, I need to build in order to design. So I don't necessarily know. So if you are one of those people, you have to really be clear on what is the purpose, right? So don't just like fall privy to, oh, I have this instinct. This is what I want to build. And you just go ahead and build without any idea of where you're going. Have like a backlog of all of your ideas. What is your idea? And it can just start as that, like as a user or as whatever persona is, I want to, whatever the accomplish, like I want to do what. And then don't forget the so that, right? So that I can, this is the outcome. So once I have that, that's pretty much the only thing that I document to start. And then I start like playing in a sandbox and I start building it all out, thinking, well, what is it that I really, really want? And then I'll go back and to the drawing board and really draw it all out and get some buy-in from other people. So lots of lots of ideas there. But yeah, I think
I think you
disorganization is
natu
the main thing. Yeah, go ahead.
got it. I think you segued into my next question, which was, what of the, product manager principles, would you recommend, an administrator, adopt in order to be successful in treating Salesforce as opposed to a platform as an actual product? And I think you did go into that, having the checklist, having great user case stories, and sticking to those as opposed to the shiny or squeaky wheel or whoever is screaming the loudest. Since you've already touched on it, can you just give us one more of the, you know, the conscientious concepts that would make an administrator even be more successful with the framework that Salesforce, once implemented, is actually a product that needs to be managed as such?
Yeah, I think that the most unique, well, it's not necessarily unique, but the funnest part, I would say, is the build versus buy, right? So I love to build things, but I also don't want to build something that someone else has already built. So if there's something on the App Exchange, if there's something that exists that someone else has already pre-built, there are great ISVs out there. So I don't even know what that stands for, independent service vendors, or I don't know what they're called. But they're ISVs. They build a product, they post it on App Exchange. Sometimes it comes with a cost. Like I think about it. And then there's some people who just build packages that upload them for free. So unofficial SF has a ton of pre-built solutions. So I tend to go for those type of open source type of solutions, and then I can extend it on top of whatever I'm looking to build. So I would say build versus buy, fall in love with the problem, really understand what the outcome is. Because sometimes what the requester is looking for has nothing to do with what they're actually asking, right? So really get into the bottom of that, and then yeah, like definitely have your backlog. And a lot of customer orgs, we create cases and record types, and so that we can start capturing Salesforce ideas in one consolidated place. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap for our impromptu recording. I really wanted to
thanks.
share that with the audience because I think this is the beginning of uh, our shares of what is going to make us a little bit different. And it does start with treating it as a product instead of just a platform. So thank
That's
you.
right. Thanks.
Awesome.